So what Elon and Doge are doing is phenomenal work, and I'm so happy that Trump's showing such public support for it.
We have people we're locking up on that. We have someone in jail right now from one of the dealerships. They threw a Molotov cocktail through a dealership.
All you're doing is trying to use black people to find a reason to make some money. Let me tell y'all something over there. With God, the Democratic Party is God.
If Republicans weren't so worried, then why didn't you have the Republican Party go out and say, stop doing town halls, stop talking to real people?
It's a stupid.
The Democrat Party continues its long history of being a largely violent, pro-protest Marxist movement. It's just coming to a head. It's just developing further under the Trump administration, under Doge, where they now have their united enemy. They're going to sputter out of existence because this stuff doesn't work in America. We're armed. Welcome to the Doug TenNapel channel. Thank you guys for watching and subscribing. Leave a comment, give us a thumbs up. That's how you say thank you. Here's a take I like on Trump's win and Doge exposing the left's violence.
In the face of the crystal knock behavior of the little fascists on the left, burning Tesla dealerships and attacking Tesla owners, I think it does show that Doge is probably one of the most important reform initiatives we've seen in decades, maybe ever, Laura. And the fact that there's such a visceral reaction shows Doge is over the target. And I think what we've seen over the last 7 weeks, I mean, think about the story over the last 7 weeks where it started waste, fraud, and abuse. And now today, I really think we've gotten to the point where Elon and Doge have uncovered that a lot of what's taking place inside of our government is a slush fund money laundering operation for the left, not only to fund their allies and their pet projects, but to actually fund anti-American behavior. So what Elon and Doge are doing is phenomenal work, and I'm so happy that Trump's showing such public support for it.
So this is incredible verification of what Elon Musk is doing. That's why the media is coming out against him. Remember, they're running all the Nazi stuff. They're doing all their occupying Trump buildings. They're doing their sputter up because, as you said, the target, they're over the target. Doge is over the target. They're about to expose the Democrats as a formal money laundering operation for a massive anti-American movement around the world, but especially here in America. We're going to get into all this because they're losing their narrative because Trump's win is our last chance at saving this country. I think it's a tiny window where we can go. It doesn't make Trump perfect or correct or anything. It just means you have an opportunity to break this corrupt Leviathan, because if Trump lost and the next time a Republican loses, it's going to be permanent. The corruption is they're going to pass laws and do a cover up so that you can no longer go in and audit it anymore. They're going to bulletproof themselves from any oversight. So they have to go in and destroy this stuff. Here's Pam Bondi.
Touch a Tesla, go to a dealership, do anything. You better watch out because we're coming after you.
Wow.
And
Well,
if you're funding this, we're coming after you. We're going to find out who you are.
So, I mean,
we have people we're locking up on that. We have someone in jail right now from one of the dealerships. They threw a Molotov cocktail through a dealership. They're looking at up to 20 years in prison.
She caught him. We got one of the ones that launched a Molotov cocktail. I just wanted to play that twice because she said they're going to throw them in prison. That means I believe this money is going to go back to Soros. The entire corrupt network, everything they've been funding for the last 20 years, but specifically the last 4, they're going to start prosecuting these people. And then you're going to watch the Democrats have they're going to have a period over this thing. Now, meanwhile, Democrats have lost their grip on kind of the unwashed masses that they always relied on to run their radical agenda. Here's some of the black constituents in America waking up to Democrats just using them. The Democrats want blacks to go to prison for their cause, and they're waking up to it.
Like in the words of Malcolm X, who told us what? That the white liberal is the worst enemy to the black man. Yes. And he coming up in here acting like y'all representing some social justice.
Say that,
but all along, you're doing is trying to use black people to find a reason to make some money. Let me tell y'all something over there. With God, the Democratic Party is God.
Abuse the black American.
Gonna come in here and gonna clean it up. Do just like R.A. Jr., just do like that Tulsa lady. You better get up out the Democratic Party. Save yourself. Because if y'all don't, we coming for your seats. We ain't taking no disrespect from a bunch of people who have broken into the country and now have completely broke the city, have completely disgraced the United States of America. America is a disgrace. The number one function of a president is to be the commander-in-chief. You tell me anything about a Kamala Harris that look like she can protect this country after y'all have sat up here and let it get overridden with a bunch of illegals. Y'all have sat up here and put America's hands in all kind of wars. And you telling me attack my man that ran from duty, Kamala Harris, who don't know what race she is, gonna protect this country?
Holy smokes. I could end the show right now. I don't know who she is, but I love her. And I only know, the Democrats call her a black woman for Trump. They call her racist. That's their only word they've got left, guys. They're losing. Here's how we wish we could get Maxine Waters on screen all day, because she does not represent black constituents. She does not represent America.
Well, I think Democrats have wanted to hit Maxine Waters' mute button for years. She tends to have these comments pop up every now and then. But as I listen to her and her apocalyptic premonitions, and then I see some of her colleagues in the House of Representatives and the Senate drop more F-bombs than there are in the Big Lebowski, I think maybe they finally hit their stride. Say crazy stuff and become your own worst enemy. And if that's their strategy to get back in power, then give them all the quick
I'm not exactly anybody. I'm not.
No, she's going, no, I don't think that's their strategy. It sure looks like it. Say the F-bomb and make everyone mad at you is the Democrat Party's big agenda. Here's more from Scott Jennings on the same topic. I love this topic.
You don't think Republicans were prepared for unhinged liberal mobs? We've been dealing with this since Donald Trump won in
Scott, these aren't liberal mobs. These are not liberal mobs.
Yeah, but believe me,
They're veterans.
I watched a little bit. I looked at the questions. Why is he shredding the Constitution? Putin this, Putin that. One guy had to be escorted out. He was so unhinged.
That was that
These
guy.
are not. This is an unrepresentative.
That was that guy, the
unhinged.
veteran. Scott, if they,
it's a mob.
Scott,
it's a literal mob.
This is what you're saying about veterans. If Republicans weren't so worried, then why did you have the Republican Party go out and say, stop doing town halls, stop talking to real people?
It's a stupid idea.
It's because they don't want to talk to people. They don't want to talk to voters.
Because
this is why you guys are polling so poorly.
We're not. Wait a minute. We're polling poorly. Can we just revisit the Democrat congressional approval rate?
Congress is polling poorly. Donald Trump is also polling poorly.
So angry He's twice as much as Democrats in Congress.
40% of the American people, according to a CNN poll, says that 40% say that they care about him. And then you have a veteran out there saying, I'm a veteran and you don't give an F about me. That is in line with how people feel about Donald Trump. And if you want to go off, and if you want to say that it's liberal elitists,
if you want to tell yourself a story about these paid
if you want to say that it's liberal elitists going and they're being paid, then you guys are going to lose the midterm.
They are being paid. We have proof they're being paid. These protesters are being paid. They put a MAGA hat on an old man, paid him, and he went out and said, I'm a veteran. I voted for Trump. And so it was all a big puppet show. It's not, the American people aren't buying it, guys. The Democrat puppet show, the fake protests, which is all they've done their whole life, is have a fake puppet show. This is the president's authority is being circumvented by people that no one knows about. That is, there's an underground government. It's called the Democrat Party. They do not want the will of the people, and they're trying to pull the rug out from under Trump. These are the people we have to investigate. I don't know about throw them in prison, but it has to be stopped.
Everybody keeps asking, who's controlling the Democrats? Well, we think we figured it out, and it's not who they are saying it is.
The point just made about how Bernie Sanders is still out there drawing big crowds in a number of locations. You know, he is sort of at the moment with a couple of others. Senator Murphy's been out there quite a bit from Connecticut.
Have any of you heard any, outside of what our news, our channel has put of Bernie Sanders out in public, have any of you heard anything from Bernie Sanders? He does not have big crowds. Really, is he filling stadiums like MAGA? He's doing these tiny little tours, going to any little, he's a Democrat celebrity of some kind, but he's not. This is not big crowds.
Sort of becoming the face of the resistance, if such a thing exists. And that's my question to you. Do Democrats need a face of the resistance? Or is it okay right now that we're hearing a little bit from Jeffries, a little bit from Schumer, a little bit from Senator Sanders and the like? Or should they be coalescing around just a couple of key figures?
Yeah, none of those people are actually running. Bernie isn't running anything. They just want you to look over here at Bernie, shiny, shiny, while the real puppet masters go to work. Thanks to a new FOIA request filed against Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro. Remember, that's the guy who was signing bombs with Zelensky during the Democrats' campaign season. The Government Accountability Oversight Group just found out about a 126-page resistance playbook that apparently all Democrat governors got. A bunch of liberal groups and former Democrat staffers are involved in this.
It's the Democrat Project 2025. They have their own radical playbook is the real cause of all this stuff. They're formally announcing a resistance here on CNN, where even though Trump won on the CR bill, getting his budget temporarily for a little bit, that Chuck Schumer, here's Donald Trump saying congratulations to Chuck Schumer for doing the right thing in his tweet, took guts and courage. So Trump is complimenting Chuck Schumer. And this gal comes on saying they're in the resistance party.
President Trump praised Senator Schumer for having the, quote, guts to do the right thing, calling his support of the spending bill a smart move. How will that sit, you think, with House Democrats?
Well, again, I don't think we should be moving in any way to elicit a praise from Donald Trump, who has no respect for Congress and the power of the purse, who is by the hour rolling out proposals and executive actions that are lawless and that are callous. We do not want to be praised by Donald Trump. This is a hostile government takeover. He is a dictator. And what do you meet a dictator with? Defiance.
That is from Massachusetts Rep. Hard-Boiled Egg. We know her as. Here's Barack Obama supporting Doge without knowing it back in his day, talking about cutting waste, fraud, and abuse. He's going to put Joe Biden in charge of it. Listen to this. This is like Elon Musk could have written all this dialogue.
Everyone knows that getting rid of the deficit will require some tough decisions. And that includes cutting back on billions of dollars in programs that a lot of people care about. But what should be easy is getting rid of the pointless waste and stupid spending that doesn't benefit anybody. Waste we should be getting rid of, even if we didn't have a deficit. Sure, some of these cuts aren't that big, but no amount of waste is acceptable. Not when it's your money. Not at a time when so many Americans are already cutting back. Just as families are living within their means, government should too. Did you know the federal government pays for a website devoted to a folk music ensemble made up of forest rangers? They're called the Fiddlin' Foresters.
Now, I'm for keeping this one open. What does it cost? Like $100 a year? This is Barack Obama pretending to be fiscally responsible by shutting this website down of the Fiddling Foresters. Fine, cut them, but keep spending billions on U.S. aid and human trafficking.
I'll put their music on my iPod, but I'm not paying for their website.
You did not put their music on your iPod. You put hardcore gangster rap on your iPod.
And there are hundreds of similar sites that we should consolidate or just get rid of. By the way, you're not only paying for websites no one needs, you're paying for thousands of buildings all across the country no one uses. For the last decade, the government's owned a massive and completely empty warehouse in the middle of Brooklyn, for example. Now, the government hadn't been able to sell this building and others like it because of red tape and Washington politics that held things up for years. But we're finally cutting through all that and plan to get rid of these buildings in the months ahead.
Wow, he sounds just like that Nazi Elon Musk. Wow, who's this Barack Obama guy? I mean, anybody ever heard of him? Was he popular with the Republican Party? Is he Doge?
We need to step up our game. We need to go after every dime. We need to make government work for you. That's why, starting today, I've asked the Vice President to lead a renewed effort to hunt down misspent tax dollars every agency and department of this government.
Get him, Joe Biden. You can do it. Joe Biden, who is making hundreds of millions of dollars off grifting Ukraine and China. He's going to go in and shut these buildings down and sell them off. Thanks, Joe Biden, Doge.
We're calling it the Campaign to Cut Waste, and I know Joe's the right man to lead it.
Joe's the right man to lead it. That's back when Joe, when his soul and his body were still connected in some way. Back then, back in the good old days. Here's more on, this is Steve Schmidt from the Lincoln Project. So this is more, I want to get some voice from some liberals on this, says that if Doge isn't shut down, then the Democrat Party base will have to escalate via protests and civil disobedience. They're calling for violence and vandalism, guys. This is a Democrat. We've had him on. We showed a clip of him last week from the Lincoln Project, an anti-Trump Lincoln Project. But even he realizes, like, we got to do something about Doge.
The threat to the Constitution is Elon Musk's presence within the government, and absent the application of pressure to make it stop right now inside this continuing resolution, then Democrats will abandon all leverage to make it stop and will then put themselves on the opposite side of their voters and an opposition movement that will have to take to the streets, will have to protest.
Oh, they're doing it. They're taking to the streets and they're burning down Tesla. Like this is like total, Hitler era, burning down businesses, burning down charging stations, environmentally sound charging stations. They've already taken to the streets. Another hard-boiled egg here.
We'll have to engage in civil disobedience. We'll have to escalate the situation everywhere at once to make it stop.
What kind of escalation? Violence?
That is the price of appeasement. And these are all acts of appeasement.
So all compliance is appeasement. That's good. Here's more formal funding. This is indivisible. This is one that Hillary Clinton promoted, is working with a 50501 to organize nationwide protests on April 5th to fight their bureaucracy. This is a formal, organized, they're going to end up protesting, probably will turn to violence again.
The April 5th event, we are going to announce tomorrow to the public. We have been, I know some folks have been in touch already about setting up maps or setting up events in various places if you are preparing to host an event for yourself. For folks who weren't with us and haven't heard kind of the background here, we're coming together with a bunch of folks across the movement ecosystem, across the country to say hands off our democracy, hands off our government.
Hands off peace, hands off nonviolence is what they're going to do. Well, get ready for that on April 5th. Just thought I'd give you guys a warning out there. Stay away from Democrats on April 5th. They're going to be blowing up in mass violence across the United States. I'm Doug in exile.